All right, welcome to the special meeting of the Recreation and Cultural Services Commission. I'm calling us to order at
Recording in
6:31
progress.
on 12 January 2026. Happy New Year. Drea, would you please do roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Christina Rosa.
Present.
Commissioner Jay Singh.
Present.
Commissioner Rob Weiskirch.
Present.
Vice Chair Mia Nguyen. So good. Just keep going. Okay. And Chair Lisa Reich.
Present. So we have quorum. Thank you, Drea.
Thank you.
All right. Our moment of silence tonight is going to be dedicated to those struggling to make sense of life. I urge you to keep on going. You're here for a reason. Please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I have a couple of admin things before we get started. The first one is I mistakenly made this special meeting on my anniversary tonight. So I'm making a shout out to my husband, who I've been married to for 37 years. Told I was going to do it. He didn't believe me, and I'm doing it. Anyway, okay, so I do want to ask the commission to look at item 8C. I would like to move to position 4C because it is currently under action items. It needs to be under special presentations because there's an action item needed. Okay, so have you had a chance to look? Yes. Okay. Okay, so do I need to make a motion to do that? Or do I just move it?
I believe you need to make a motion to do that.
Okay, I make a motion to move item 8C under other action items to 4C under special presentations because no action is needed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Microphone.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, that motion passes. We will move that to 4C. Next up, we have special presentations. Drea is going to give us a presentation on our 2025 accomplishments and memories. Go for it, Drea.
Hi, commissioners. Hi, everyone. Is it possible to have, is it full screen? Okay, that's good. Okay, so this is just a quick slideshow about our accomplishments and memories from 2025 for our Recreation and Cultural Services Department. And I'm hoping that I will be able to read this clearly because my eyesight's a little tricky. Oop. This is not working. It was working earlier, but now it's not. Okay, sorry. So for our 2025 senior program, we had various classes offered at Vince DiMaggio Park and Rocky Horn Community Center: bingo, getting stronger exercise, line dancing, ukulele, pickleball, ping pong, sewing, quilting and knitting, and crochet, and more. We hosted 3 holiday parties for Valentine's Day, Halloween, and winter holidays. We had multiple holiday parties for each of the classes, and we had a minimum of 40 participants attend each of our parties. We served over 170 senior members throughout the year. Okay. Our 2025 teen program, we served 140 plus teen members. We have the Teen Center Breakfast Club Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to about 8:20ish. And then we have about 20 plus teens that attend that daily. Our after school program is Monday through Friday, 2 to 6. Wednesdays is a shorter day, so it's actually 12:30 to 6 on Wednesdays, or a longer day, that is. And we have about 60 plus teens that attend daily for our after school program. Our teen center hosted summer specialty camp, and one of them was engineering design Lego camp. And then this year we brought back Guitarists Unitas, returned in December at the Teen Center. So we're very excited to welcome them back. For our 2025 youth program, we served 140 plus youth members. And at our youth center after school program, we have about 60 plus youth that attend daily. We serve MPUSD schools, J.C. Crumpton, Ione Olson, Marina Vista, and daily snacks provided by MPUSD to all of the youth. This year, our youth performed We Are All Welcome Here, which is an amazing song about inclusivity. They performed that at the Design Day event. And Youth Center also offered youth spring, summer, and fall camps. We had over 200 camp participants in our camps this year. And the Youth Center participated in the annual Monterey Bay Aquarium field trip where they got gifts on behalf of the aquarium, and they got to take a bus there and a bus back, and it was just very special. And the Youth Center also partners with the Marina Youth Arts on a weekly basis. Our 2025 sports program offered sports camps, youth and junior high basketball camps, skateboard, and intro to sports, offered sports leagues, futsal, indoor floor hockey, youth and junior high basketball, track club, basketball skills and drills. We partnered with the Monterey Elks Lodge 1285 and Monterey Sports Center to host the 25-26 Elks Hoop Shoot Contest, which is the free throw shooting contest. And 2 of our Marina students will be moving on to the district competitions in Santa Clara on Saturday, January 24th. If you want more information about that competition, you can reach out to Coach Ron. Oh, this is tricky now. I'm going to the next one. Okay, thanks. We also hosted the annual Punt, Pass, and Kick. T-shirts and trophies were sponsored by the Elks Lodge. And we partnered with Marina Police Activities League to offer the Marina Track Club. The sports program served 150 plus youth over the year and supported Marina Youth Baseball, Softball, and Marina Youth Soccer Sports at Preston Park and Los Arbos Sports Complex. Okay. We had a lot of special events this year. I sigh because it's been a very successful year of special events, and we're looking forward to our upcoming events. So for 2025, we had the partnered with a Sustainable Marina to host the Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration, and that had over 540 people. Gloria and G. Tate Park Phase 2 groundbreaking ceremony. We had about 30 plus people. The all-inclusive playground design day, where the children came from the schools and they brought their families and they shared their designs of the playground that they wanted to see. We had over 550 people. There's the AIDS Life Cycle Rest Stop at Windy Hill Park. I don't have that number right now, but we also had the Windy Hill Park Playground grand opening, which brought in over 600 people. And our first July 4th block party at the Marina Airport, which brought in over 3,400 people. We also hosted the Multicultural Festival in September, which brought in over 740 people. And then Marina's 50th anniversary celebration in 2025, which brought in over 2,900 people. Our second annual Halloween event, which brought in over 100 people, plus half of that probably their animals, their dogs, which is very special. And then Halloween Fright Night, which combined the Youth Center and the Teen Center programs, and we held it at the Los Arbos Sports Complex, and that brought in over 800 people. And our all-inclusive playground design reveal day, where we unveiled the beautiful 34,450 square foot playground, that brought in over 500 people. And then toward the end of 2025, we had the Thanksgiving community meal, which brought in over 550 people, and the holiday tree lighting, which brought in also over 550 people, and Winterfest and holiday meal, which brought in over 500 people. So our visitor count is based on Placer AI, which is our software that can tell us how many visitors that we had at each location, each event. And so that's what those numbers are based on. So 2025 projects completed, the all-inclusive playground design of 34,450 square feet. That design was completed by the youth and families of the community, also by the Recreation and Cultural Services Commission and City Council approval, and Leathers and Associates designed that based on all of the feedback. We have new water heaters at the Equestrian Center, Rocky Horn Community Center, and Teen Center. Preston Park Phase 1 was completed, which included assess and upgrade irrigation, removed 5 trees due to root intrusion into the fields, planted 10 new trees, and removed and replaced infield dirt. At the Rocky Horn Community Center, we had some upgrades, which included window treatments, new refrigerator, paint, new playground wood chips. We had tree trimming at the Equestrian Center, Vince DiMaggio Park, and Windy Hill Park. And we also had the Windy Hill Park Playground grand opening. Projects in progress. And just so everyone does know, we will talk more in depth about a couple of, the Gloria Jean Tate Park and City Park at the Dunes a little bit later on during tonight. Okay. So City Park at the Dunes, design is near completion. The estimate is currently over budget. So Wallace Group's going to scale back. Discussions are in progress. We should be breaking ground late spring, early summer of 2026. And again, our all-inclusive playground is going to break ground in early fall of this year. Gloria Jean Tate Park, Phase 2, partial opening in May with full access in September. And that'll be explained a little bit later. Preston Park Phase 2 is in design phase. City Park at Sea Haven will be out to bid late January and construction to start late spring, early summer. Our aquatics and recreation complex is still in the design phase. So our fiscal sustainability for 2025 calendar year, we entered into agreement with MPUSD Expanded Learning Opportunities at the Marina Teen Center and the Youth Centers for after-school opportunities. We entered into agreement with Shays Gymnastics to offer gymnastics and dance at the Equestrian Center. We entered into agreement with Playwell Technologies to offer the specialty Lego camps at the Teen Center. Entered into agreement with Santa Cruz Printing, and we have the Marina's 50th anniversary merchandise storefront. So our revenue history for January 1st of 2025 through December 31st, we brought in revenue of $290,442.13. That is a 66.62% from the previous fiscal year. On the horizon, coming up, we have the Gloria Jean Tate Park grand opening around May. It should be in May. City Park at Sea Haven, groundbreaking early summer of this year. City Park at the Dunes, groundbreaking summer of this year, and a lot more. And we also have the all-inclusive playground community project build. So we will be having fundraising and sponsorship efforts by the steering committee coming up, art and special features projects for mosaics and murals at this youth and teen centers. And our community build will be breaking ground in early fall of this year. Our potential new partnerships that I'm working on are the Community Health of Pajaro Valley to host health screenings and offer physical activity classes at Vince DiMaggio Park building to support the senior program, and the Village Project for tabling and collaboration at the Teen Center for teen support. And I just want us to take a moment to show our deepest gratitude to all of our community partners and our sponsors. We're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Drea. We were rocking it.
I think we were. Go ahead.
Yep. Next up, we have Marissa Dirksen. Am I saying that correctly?
Mariessa Dirksen.
Mariessa.
Yes.
I apologize, Mariessa.
Mariessa Dirksen is a Monterey High School student at the is the MAOS program? Correct? At the MAOS program, which stands for Monterey Academy of Oceanographic Science. And she's going to give a presentation on a special project that she will be launching at our Marina Teen Center with our teens.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Mariessa Dirksen, and I wanted to share a little bit about my Teen Center Garden project with you guys. All right. So a little background on this project is I've had a passion for gardening growing up. I've been coming to beautification events in Marina. I kind of wanted to find a way to share that with the community. I also recall being at the teen center, I would play volleyball or just hang out inside. So I kind of wanted to bring those two together. I was also notified a while ago by the older Andrea who would help at the teen center that they were looking for projects for the yard. So I reached out to Drea here to talk about maybe a potential garden. The top, oh, okay, yeah, that's good. So I wanted to talk a little bit how the project aligns with the Marina Recreation and Cultural Service mission. So the project will encourage community learning through fun and educational hands-on opportunity. Garden involvement in classes will all be free, emphasizing outreach towards all groups without discrimination or limits on participation. Lastly, the nature of maintaining a garden presents valuable opportunities for teens to learn responsibility and leadership. So I wanted to kind of, once I bring the garden to Marina, I want to have teens and kids at the teen center help work on it and just learn about gardening so they can use those skills at home or just grow with them. So a little bit about the project timeline. It started April 2025. So it's been a while, but with school and other commitments and communication, it's caused a little bit of postponement, but I'm confident that the garden will be operational by spring break and by summertime this year. So it started April of last year. I reached out to Drea with the proposal of the design of the garden, the layout, the materials. By June, we planned to get potential donations for this project. So we finalized the donation letter to the Monterey County Community Foundation. By August 2025, proposed funding to be held on to by a potential partner, which was the Marina Tree and Garden Club. I reached out to Julia Hoffman. So thank you for all your help and for your recommendations. By September, the $10,000 was granted through the PAT Grant Fund by Elisa Smith. And from now until February through March, I want to finalize the garden and brainstorm the lessons to be held at the teen center. So all this supplies will be taken care of by the funding. So we're just going to have basic garden supplies, the planter boxes, which was chosen from the Veggie Garden website, cages for vine plants, soil, and plant fertilizer, since the plants won't be directly in the ground, shovels and tools for the children and teens to be involved, a potential irrigation system, which will be added on to later after we put the garden in, a garden calendar to help teach and keep track of the seasons. We're gonna have a gopher box and also the pre-grown plants and seeds because germinating can be difficult. So I want to make it an easier process. So here's the layout. This at the teen center, there's the main center and then the skate park. This is kind of in between that. So it's 9.5 feet by 59 feet. So we're gonna have, I've done a little bit of research to map out the types of planter boxes as well as the plants that thrive in the Central Coast area. This includes wildflowers, snap peas, bell peppers, cherry tomatoes, just simple plants. We will also need cages and different kinds of planter boxes because some of the plants need more or less space, like the strawberries. We're going to need a stacked planter box because you know how they have vines and they're just big plants in general. So Jacob Baines from the Teen Center also suggested we implement some sort of native species to help educate people on that. So, like I said, the project funding came from the Community Foundation from the PAT Grant Fund by Elisa Smith. This funding is going to pay for all supplies, plant varieties, planter boxes, and instructional funding. So that won't be a problem. Lastly, the most important part of this project is the teen involvement. So teens will be welcomed and encouraged to learn about gardening and take up various responsibilities. Hopefully this will happen after school or during summer activities that are held at the teen center. Lastly, a main garden introduction class, which may turn into like many classes, will be held and open to participants and families of the teen center in Marina who are interested in helping maintain the garden. Oh, I think that's it. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Marietta. That was great. Did anybody want to say anything?
Other than you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting all that work and putting this together. I'm excited to see this. I can't wait to taste the strawberries.
Yeah, thank you so much.
But please let me know because I would love to be there to learn how to plant stuff too, because I'm not good at that either.
Yeah.
So I would definitely love to be a part of this.
I love how much detail and work you put into this. You did a great job.
Thank you so much.
Oh, one more person wants to say something. Hold on.
Got it.
Sorry. I also have a question. So my question is, after you graduate, what's the plan for maintaining the garden area?
So like I said, the garden is the focus of it is to encourage others to help take care of it. So after I'm gone, hopefully it can be taken up by groups at the teen center or just kids in general who may want to learn some type of responsibility or just have a role in taking care of it. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay,
quick.
next up we have
hang on a
Drea
second.
giving us a presentation on the all-inclusive playground project.
Thank you. Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Maria said, thank you. That was excellent. She's been so patient along this whole process and very informative. So also just to touch base about your question, Rob, this is a great opportunity where she'll be helping teens at the teen center learn how to garden, all of these items. And then so based on her teaching them and working with our staff to teach them, they're going to continue that. And I'm going to make sure they continue it. And so is Maria says. So we're very excited. Thank you. Okay. So now I'm just going to show you a quick presentation on our all-inclusive playground design. So the last time that we were here, which was November 5th, talking about the all-inclusive playground was right before reveal day. So on November 8th, we unveiled this beautiful design. And so I wanted to present it to y'all here today. It is a video, so it might have music playing, it might not. So if it doesn't, I apologize. Okay, the music's not going to play, so we don't want me to sing for you either. There we go. This is the entrance part of the playground. This is our tot lot lighthouse. There's going to be a 4-foot climbing whale. This is the humpback whale. We'll have a 4-door barracks area. You can run in and pretend you're a soldier, along with those 4-door lookout towers. And a giant squid slide section that leads over to the train that's going to have a swaying deck coal car. And this is the dunes, 4-door dunes trail area, dune themed ramps and decks. And we have a lighthouse mimicking the Pigeon Point Lighthouse, which leads into the pier. And the Sea Lion Rock area. And the kelp forest climbing area. And then this is the the end of the playground, which has all the swings, an all-inclusive swing, and the zip line station. This playground, again, is 34,450 square feet. I think I've said that now 3 or 4 times. A very large playground. Okay, that's all for the all-inclusive playground.
Thank you, Drea. Did you guys want to say anything before we go to the next thing? All right, Drea. Next, we have communications from the floor. Drea, before we go to the community, is going to do one quick presentation for us.
I'm sorry, I think we skipped special announcements.
Did I?
About MLK.
Okay, sorry, back me up.
That's okay. I just want all of us to,
Do have some special announcements first. Go ahead, Drea.
can you bring up the MLK? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, we're going to, go ahead.
So this coming Monday is the Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration. It's going to be at the MLK Sculpture Garden by the Marina Library at 190 Seaside Circle. And we're going to celebrate the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., featuring live performances by the Leon Joyce Trio. And they are presented by the Just Jazz Foundation and the Monterey Bay Live All-Stars and the Monterey County Pops Orchestra. This event is co-sponsored by City of Marina, Monterey County Pops Orchestra, Citizens for Sustainable Marina, and Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District. It's going to be a very exciting day. It starts at 11:30, and then about 11:45, we have guest speakers that will be there. And then the first performance by the Leon Joyce Trio will start exactly at 12:30. So we hope that everyone comes and joins us this Monday, January 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Drea. Now we have communications from the floor. Drea, did you want to do that presentation first or? Okay. Okay, we'll do it. All right, sounds good.
Hi, Grace Silva Santella. I just want to make a recommendation on your agendas going forward that you make sure you have addresses for all of these locations. Many of us who've lived here in Marina for many, many years, we know where the teen center is. We've followed city council meetings. We know where the all-inclusive playground is, but there's a lot of new residents in Marina who don't know where these are, and it helps a lot if each agenda item has an actual address. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
Hi, thank you, commissioners, for being here tonight and being the leaders that you are. I wanted to point out that we have a couple of special people in the audience because they were recently awarded Man and Woman of the Year. So we have Steve Lee, who's the Marina Man of the Year this year. And you probably all know Grace Silva Santella, but you may not know that a few years ago she was awarded Marina Woman of the Year. So that's really great. And I know it wasn't a special, I know it wasn't an action item, what we just heard about the Teen Center Garden, but I wanted to say I think it's wonderful that her motive is to encourage hands-on learning with growing food, growing plants for youth and their families. So there's more family activities in the dirt, so to speak. And I look forward to the final designs of their plant selection and their bed designs. I'm really glad they have the native species included to help educate people about that. And I'm thankful to the Marina Treating Garden and the Bat Grant Fund for making that all happen, pulling that all together. I also wanted to mention that Sustainable Marina also does cleanups, community cleanups once a month on the second Sunday of the month. So a couple days ago or yesterday was the second Sunday. The next ones are on February 8th and March 8th. And yesterday, 19 volunteers showed up, including Pat Grant, who runs the Pat Grant Fund. And they collected 1,000 pounds of trash and litter along approximately 11 miles of roadside and bike trail between the roundabout at Del Monte Beach and the on-ramp to Highway 1 up above by the landfill. So that material gets compiled by volunteers and is picked up this morning, the day after, by the Regen Monterey staff. So it's a really good ongoing partnership where those volunteers have been there every second Sunday without missing a month since January of 2017, when the county Public Works removed 110,000 pounds of garbage when there used to be 85 to 100 RVs and vehicles, many of which were abandoned. It looked like an open air landfill. And when they did the bulk cleanup, the volunteers did the little stuff and promised that they would come back every month to maintain the little stuff and the big stuff. So it's a wonderful example of volunteers joining forces with public entities, agencies to clean up our neighborhood so that it doesn't return to what it once was back in 2017. Thanks you.
Thank you, Bruce. Anybody else? Okay, public comments I have concluded. We're now moving to other action items. We have, first up, Amelia is going to give us a presentation on a Food Garden Eagle Scout project. Not Amelia.
Not Amelia, no. No, I was just going to introduce, as you know, I'm Steve Lee. I'm a resident of Marina and a volunteer with Sustainable Marina. I'm just going to introduce a couple of projects that we've got lined up. First is Amelia with her Eagle Scout project to create a food forest on the city property near the library. And after that, we'll have Danielle talking about the Children's Sensory Garden. So I'll just introduce Amelia now with her Eagle Scout project.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to present today. My name is Amelia Forstel. I am 15 years old. I am a resident of Marina, and I'm currently working on becoming an Eagle Scout. I am proposing to do a food forest. So the definition of a food forest is pretty simple. It's just a forest made out of food plants. So whereas in a garden, all the plants are in separate garden beds and kind of like doing their own thing, in a food forest, the plants are all together and working as an ecosystem with different functions that all just work together to make it all work really well. So I started working on this project about a year ago, but I hit some roadblocks, especially when trying to figure out a piece of land to do this on. So that's why I'm proposing to do this on the city land shown on the image over there. So that's at the library, somewhere between the parking lot and playground, as you can see over there. So this project will be really great for the community in several different ways. It helps with food security, sustainability, educating people on how to grow food, and encouraging people to go outside and work as a community. Also, this project goes really well with the library because people can go inside and learn from the books and then go outside and engage in hands-on outdoor learning. This project will be especially targeted towards children and will work well with the proposed Children's Sensory Garden if that gets approved as well. And since this project is targeted towards children, everything is kid-friendly, so the plants will be thornless varieties. There won't be any plants that are toxic. The trees won't be too tall for kids to reach, things like that. So the plan I have on the screen is just to give a quick overview of how it works. You can see on the left, there is a persimmon guild. So basically a guild is like the group of plants that all work together and do different functions to support each other. So we have the persimmon guild on the left, so 2 persimmon trees with supporting plants around those. And then on the right, we have a plum guild with 3 plum trees, also supporting plants around that. And then at the top, we have what I call a mini guild of just a raspberry bushes and garlic, because those 2 plants grow really well together. So that's just a conceptual plan of what this will likely be like. I may make some small changes depending on our budget and what works, but the final plan will be very similar to this. So the budget for this project will be $5,000 or less, probably less, but Sustainable Marina will be paying for everything and also maintaining everything, which I will go over later. And we also plan to eventually put irrigation in this. So following a similar plan as with the pollinator gardens around the library, we put the plants first, and then in a separate phase, we put the irrigation and then mulch. So my Eagle project is phase 1, which is just the planting, but then that irrigation and mulch will get put down later. So if this is approved, I will organize a work day to do this with Scout volunteers. And since it's my Eagle project, I'm actually required to plan and lead this. So the city doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff. We have it covered. And then for maintenance, Sustainable Marina will have the volunteers for that because volunteers go to that area every Saturday to volunteer at the Oak Woodland Park. So those volunteers can help maintain the food forest. And in general, food forests require very little maintenance after the first year or so because of the way that they work. So that's it for my presentation. If anyone has any questions or ideas on how to improve this, please let me know. And I really hope I have your support for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. I will now open this up to the floor for communication from the floor. If anybody would like to speak or say something, questions, comments, none? Okay. Oh. I only called for the Eagle Project stuff. Okay, Grace.
So congratulations. This is exciting to hear about. I do want to bring to the attention of the Recreation Commission and to the young woman who just gave this wonderful presentation that in March of 2024, just before the Friends of the Marina Library and Sustainable Marina did some renovating of the landscape area down at the library, there was a very dysfunctional irrigation system down there. The city paid to have a company, K&D Water Management Incorporate, come in and do an irrigation system report. They repaired what needed to be repaired to allow Friends of the Marina Library and Marina Tree and Garden Club to move forward with their work, and for Sustainable Marina to do their pollinator gardens in the beds in the parking lot. However, there was still a good amount of work that needs to be done on the irrigation system. And I just would advise strongly that no work be done without first consulting with K&D Landscape, without first consulting with K&D Water Management Incorporated, and be absolutely certain that there's sufficient water volume and pressure to add more irrigation to the system. Because as far as I understand, the recommendation that had been made to the city by K&D Water Management Incorporated, which included it was strongly recommended to have a 2-inch service and meter installed for any future expansion of landscape areas around the library and neighboring site. That has not yet been done. So I would hate to see a project with so much enthusiasm fail because the water system can't support and supply for the need. So I really strongly recommend that that be a step taken before you move forward with anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
Hello again. Yeah, Grace brings up a great point, and absolutely the irrigation has to be approved by the city that it can handle whatever happens there at the library. There's 2 ways to irrigate this project, and we use both of those ways with the 9 existing pollinator gardens that are in front of the library inside the parking lot, and there's one just outside the parking lot closer to the train tracks. And the first way is that they're all plumbed into the system that Grace just described. So they're on a timer, they can be turned on and off with a phone app, and that's all fine. The other way that we water almost more frequently than the first way I just described is we use hoses. And there are several couplers. There's almost a coupler in every island. A coupler, you just put in a little nozzle, you attach your hose to it, and away you go, hand watering the islands. We use that almost more than the timer system because we're always putting new plants, replacing dead plants, sick plants, and we don't want to turn on the whole system for those few plants. So we're always dragging hose into the parking lot, into these islands, whereas this location is outside the parking lot in a safe area nearer to the picnic tables. And there's a coupler right there on the south side of the sidewalk. So the coupler is within 10, 20 feet of where we want to go. So it's going to be easy to plug in that hose and turn it on and water whatever plants we want to water that way. But also for the long run, eventually we're going to want to have it plumbed into the system just like everything else. And we've been in contact with the city manager. He refers to things as phase 1 and phase 2. And phase 2 is to look to the Asian American garden that's proposed and to do a better system for the Oak Woodland Community Garden, which are further south than the location we're talking about. But the location we're talking about is already part of the whole system, and that's why it has a coupler right there. So connecting to that coupler, a new solenoid so you can water those plants with drip irrigation shouldn't be a problem, but that's up to the Public Works to make sure that it's copacetic in the way that Grace described. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Anyone else? Okay, I will close public comments and open comments to the commissioners. Rob?
Thanks. I do have a couple of questions based on the image, so I don't know if you want to go up to the mic to answer those. So based on your planning and your schematic, in the image, there are 2 small trees that exist between there and the, I think those are cypress and the trail. We can't see it there, but on our handout, we have images. There we go. Right there, are those 2 small trees in between the stanchions, I guess. And are those being incorporated or being removed as part of the design?
Those will stay there. So as you can see in the plan, those are denoted by the olive trees. So the plan that I'll be creating, or the plan that we'll be using based off of this plan, will just be going around those existing trees, basically.
Okay, so you're going to do the infill in between those trees, the sidewalk, and the cypress trees that are existing. Yeah. Okay, great. That was my question.
Thank you for your presentation. For the events that usually take place in that area, would this be impacted? Or is there some considerations we got to make, like, to keep in mind if there are any events, like how do we make sure that this area is protected and, you know, for big events that happen? Because I think it's usually there's some tables and stuff that was set up there in the past, especially for the MLK event or Earth Day and things like that.
Feel free to jump in if I answer this incorrectly, but I think it's just going to be more welcoming and bring in more volunteers and bring in more community because they'll be part of these projects and they'll be part of not just the development, but continuing on with these projects. So I think it's only going to impact in a very positive light, in my opinion.
Okay, anybody else? Right, well, you asked my question. So what do we need to do now? We're approving it tonight, or are we just?
So there isn't an action item to approve it. It's just to receive feedback from the community,
Okay,
from the audience, and then also to receive your feedback and to basically, like, do we support these projects moving forward?
okay.
So there's probably a couple of, just based on Grace's comments and Bruce's and Jay's, I think there's just a couple of things I'd like to check with Public Works on. But I believe these projects have already been approved by City Council. Is that correct, Bruce? No, they have not. I apologize. So we will receive your feedback, and then what we'll do is we'll come back in March at the next meeting, and then we'll ask you to approve the projects.
Okay, so what we need to do is give our feedback on what we think should be done.
What do we need to address
Yes.
between now and our next meeting?
Okay, Rob, do you want to go first? You have anything to say? Nothing? Jay, nothing? Nothing? Okay, then. Well, I'm going to back up the water question just because it did come up, and we do need to have an answer about that one way or the other. It makes sense to me. Why put in a garden if you're not going to be able to put water in a garden to keep it going? And I certainly wouldn't want to do an eagle. I want to mention my son's eagle project was a Japanese garden. So I know that garden doesn't exist anymore and he's 30. So just gives you kind of an idea how kind of sad to see something fall apart because there wasn't something there to support it going on. I like that you let us know that Sustainable Marina is taking it over. That was my question before Grace and Mayor Delgado came up here. And it was just, who's taking over the irrigation issue once the garden is built? Like, is Sustainable Marina going to do it? Is the city going to do it? That was kind of where my question went. Other than that, I don't have anything to say other than cool. Does that make me old? Do I need a different word? Fire's the word? Okay, fire. All right, then. Moving on. I'll just let you introduce the next
Okay,
person. How's that?
The second project is Danielle Cantrell is going to talk about the Children's Sensory Garden in a very similar area, just in a very close to where the food forest is being proposed. Just want to point out that this was our big idea for Communities for Sustainable Monterey Counties, MC Gibbs appeal, which just finished, of course, at the end of the year. But we've raised something like $24,000 for this project. And we should expect to get some matching funds of perhaps another $4,000 on top of that when all the bookkeeping is finished. So we've got about probably $28,000, to put towards this project that's coming up. So anyway, here's Danielle.
Clicker. Hi, everyone. Thanks for allowing me to talk today. So I am filling in for my friend Valine, who is out with bronchitis. So I am not as prepared as I would like to be normally in these sort of scenarios. So, but I'll do my best. Yes. Oh. Okay. There we go. So today I'm going to be talking about a proposed children's garden, which would be adjacent to the food forest that we just heard about. We'll see if this clicker works. I'll just say next slide. How about that? Yeah, okay. So the purpose of the Children's Sensory Garden, we want to encourage children and their families to enjoy nature and to basically spark curiosity and develop environmental literacy. So part of that is we want to grow a lot of plants that children can touch and taste and smell. We want to have mud that children can play with. We want to just have really something aimed at around like that 5 and under age group where they can go and be safe and just go wild, right? Let their little imaginations run wild. Let them just sort of have a full sensory experience in a safe, controlled environment. Next slide. So just briefly, I wanted to introduce ourselves. So Valine Moreno Barr is the one who is sort of the parent sort of spearheading this. She's a good friend of mine. She has 2 kids, and the youngest, Lucia, is about 6 weeks older than my son, Theo. She's born and raised in Marina, and she's a teacher, a Spanish teacher. And so her community roots run deep. She's like, I think, 3rd generation in Marina. And so she's a really great resource because I swear every time I go into public with her, she knows every 3rd person. And so when we're talking about somebody who has a good network to pull from to support a volunteer-led project, it's kind of hard to beat Valine there. My name is Danielle Cantrell Holcomb, and I have only been in Marina about 3 years or so, but my family and my husband and I just purchased one of the BMR houses. So if you know what the housing market is like for a millennial, we will be here till we die. And I work for the state water boards as an environmental scientist, and I teach very part-time at Cal State Monterey Bay. I actually recognize Jay from first year seminar planning faculty day. So a detailed description, it's about a 40 by 40 foot area, and it's going to be filled with various amenities for children to contribute to learning about the natural world. And the rest of this is kind of just a list of all the amenities that we are proposing. So I'll just move through the slides that go over all of these. The location. So this will be adjacent to the food forest garden. So this is sort of under the cypress trees in between the park and the Martin Luther King Jr. statue area. And now, so some ideas for things we would like to put in this garden. So first, a mud kitchen. So just wooden play structures where they can have water and mud. And that is really all they need to entertain a like 1 to 5 year old for 8 hours if you want. On top of that, we have for this area, like maybe a little shed where we can keep some digging and raking tools that children can help themselves to, maybe plastic safe things that they can just freely take. We want to do some planter beds just made from old recycled tires that we can paint and make very vibrant. And that could be something that is just, donated. I'm sure there's lots of people with old tires they'd like to donate. And we'll be focusing primarily on wildflowers in these little planter beds. Next slide. So the water pump area, there's a couple of points about this. The first one is this is the most expensive thing that we want to have in the garden. I priced this out with a company and we're probably looking at around $8,000 or so to get a functional water pump going. The second thing is this would be the only thing in our list of amenities we want. The second thing is that this is the only water play area in the area. So like a lot of other cities I've lived in, there have been splash pads and these kinds of things. There's nothing like that around here. So I think it would be really beneficial to the local families to have a water play area. And then once we have that water pump, which is the expensive aspect of this, we can sort of build things around it, like little river rocks to make rivers. We can make a little water wall that you can make the water go down and have things spin and this kind of thing. And those sort of secondary things that we could build onto the water pump would be a lot less money than the actual water pump itself once we have that purchased and installed. Another thing, again, really inexpensive, really simple, really delightful for small children, a bunch of tree stumps. So we just went this last Saturday with this lovely family here, as well as Valine. Our kids were flipping over stumps in that garden for like 3 hours, just delighted by all the little bugs under it. So setting up an area where we could just have some artificial habitat to encourage that kind of exploration and activity. It'd be really low cost and low maintenance. And another idea that we have seen in various children gardens and sort of other cities we've visited is a driftwood sculpture garden. So there's a ton of driftwood in Monterey County. We could put out a call for people to collect and bring to the driftwood garden and just have an area where the kids can sort of freely build and allow their creativity and imaginations and just, it's so satisfying for them to be able to build things. So that could be a really fun little low cost aspect as well. And the final point is, when we initially priced out a lot of this stuff, the mud kitchens and the water pump are going to be the high price items. My dad's a general contractor, so I asked him to help me price out some costs. And we came up with somewhere around $20,000 for all of this. And we actually raised $25,000 already. So plus apparently a little bit more. I want to say this, I don't think this was this super highly advertised? Like Valine and I shared it on our private Instagram pages with our like 800 friends. So it wasn't like we super advertised this. I think it just indicates how much the community wants it. Like people are looking for year-end giving. Yeah.
Danielle, I am so sorry to interrupt you. I have been out with a bad back and I'm going to need help getting off this podium right now to go because my back is spasming.
I am so sorry.
Is it okay if we take a break, like
Yes.
3 minutes?
I have ibuprofen. Do you need it? that there's a hunger for this kind of thing in our area. So that's kind of it. We have a support group of other parents of young children. Oh yes, this is a picture from one Sunday. So this is this little girl here, and this my son Theo in the middle and Lucia at the front. A lot of us, we're raising families in small spaces with tiny yards, and we have children who love the dirt. And so these spaces are really, really critical to the health of our community. That's really all I have.
Great. Could you stay up there and we'll open it for comments from the public?
Hi, Grace Silva Santella again. This is so awesome and exciting. And Julie and I, as we're sitting next to each other, the whole driftwood stuff, the stumps, there's a lot of elements and aspects of this I think will be an exciting addition. A couple of comments I would have is I think because this is much more intensification of the use of the area than the first presentation was, it would be good to talk to Monterey County Free Library staff just to get their feedback. They really have a good take on a good sense of what's going on down at the library, and that's a well-used area of the library with the picnic tables down there. My second issue, another issue is, once again, I'll raise the issue about the water. You need to be absolutely certain. This appears to me to almost possibly be a greater intensification of water usage with the water pumps, which leads me to another concern. When Friends of the Marine Library and Marine Tree and Garden Club, we did our planting project against the library building and underneath the flagpole planting bed, we needed access to a hose bib, and the Public Works Department was able to get us a hose bib coming out of the building by the bike racks that are by the library staff's entrance. But we have a lock on that so that no RV campers, no transients, nobody can tap into that water. The pump systems, which look really fun and cool and playful, they would also concern me about how those could possibly be vandalized or accessed by individuals who might be using far in excess of water than we want to see happen down there at the library. And the other issue is there's the mention about electricity. The Public Works Department actually had to remove a electrical outlet that was to the right of the entrance of the library because it was being misused again by transients, RV campers and such. So I think if there's going to be any electrical improvements that happen down there, you need to have a total complete buy-in from the Public Works Department. And again, I would just urge having some conversation with the Monterey County Free Library System. And thank you. And elements of it are so exciting.
Hello, Commissioners. First off, thank you for your service. My name is Christina Medina Dirksen, Maria's mom. I think this is fantastic having grown children here. We had to go other places before the library activities started. I was part of the Friends of the Marina Library with Grace, and we did a lot of things. So this is a wonderful project. Thank you for thinking of that age group, and welcome to the community. And the reason why we don't have splash pads is because it's cold. So I have two comments. One is I am a little afraid of the vandalism. So we can't control other people's behaviors. Sorry, but I would hope maybe the community can help with that, or just think about how we can safeguard that it doesn't get vandalized, because that's going to be the saddest thing ever, is this beautiful thing, and we just, someone's going to take off with it or something like that. The other matter is, and it's interesting because you work for the State Water Board, is the water issue. Yes, people will have ill intent, but it also kind of sends a little bit of a message. Here we are spending a lot of money trying to safeguard our water in Monterey and Marina, millions and millions of dollars to address the desalination plant. So there's kind of a bigger political issue at play that maybe just think about. I'm not discounting anything you said, but perhaps rethink that through, and or if you can incorporate some education about water and how important it is. And maybe the earliest memory I have growing up in the city was the Wash Your Hand or Don't Waste Water campaign. And I was in kindergarten and I was turning off water everywhere. My dad was shaving, mid-shave, I turn off the water. So that was a very impactful campaign on my mind that carried me through life and continues to, I'm whatever. So my thoughts were just if there was any way to educate our little ones just on how important water is. And that's it. Thank you.
Amelia Forstel speaking again. I just wanted to comment that I think this is a really good idea that would also complement the food forest if that got approved. Since I know nowadays a lot of kids are kind of inside on their screens and stuff, having more opportunities for children to go outside and kind of do outdoor learning and learn how to be sustainable and grow food and have fun outside and things like that would be really helpful for the community. So I just wanted to say that I think this is a really good idea and it would be cool if it could be implemented.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Gardner, and I have been a resident of Marina for 45 years. So I've raised my children here, and now my grandchildren are with me. There's always been a lack of playgrounds in the past, and now we have so many and so many happening. But this is a different kind of playground. And Marina, Valine, who's not here, is a friend from my daughter from high school, and she came to me and she's been playing with her kids out at Oak Woodlands. And she said, I've been around the country and saw these mud kitchens. I go, what is a mud kitchen? And the more she explained to me, it was pretty much the kitchen I have in my front yard where they spend hours with the sand and water and playing with the bugs. And my kids will spend hours. So I was all for this to go forward because I just know, like these other people said, everybody's on the screen indoors. We need to use our outside eyes and we need to have fresh air for our children. So the mud kitchen, which we should call sand kitchen here in Marina, all encompassing also water. And I totally agree with some education about water. And also they're going to have to work for it because they have to pump it. It's not going to be a hose flying and flying. They're going to have to work for it. So it won't be in a huge amount of water. We can regulate that. We also have timers on the water systems out in the parking lot, which is no reason why we can't have a timer on that to turn it off at, dusk or 5 o'clock, whatever it is. So nobody's going to be turning that on. It's going to be flowing all night long. I really recommend that we do something of this nature. First of all, there is also places across the country that have stump gardens, and it's what they were talking about, these slabs out there. You turn them over. We have some in the Oak Woodlands, and there's millipedes, centipedes, bugs, and we have a lot of slender salamanders. The kids come every week to find these, and we can introduce them into this garden also. Thank you very much.
Any other comments from the public? How about our commissioners? Go ahead. Tina, then Jay.
Congratulations on the MC Gives. That's amazing. As another nonprofit that we support, I understand that when, who will be sustaining it yearly after that with any costs that come up?
Sorry, can you repeat your question, please?
Who will be sustaining it after the
Yeah.
initial donations and?
I think we're going to have to, I think the long-term plan is, I don't know if it's going to be as complex as having like a nonprofit associated with it or partnering maybe with like the Citizens of Sustainable Marina or something like that. But we will have to probably solicit donations. It won't need as much moving forward, but you're absolutely right. There will be maintenance costs associated. So we'll have to kind of develop a long-term plan for that. And also in terms of labor, I think the dream is to just, we're slowly building a coalition of parents who are really interested in this. And All of us plan on being here a long time. We have kids who we hope will be here a long time, and just kind of grow that community of parents who can help work together to sustain it, as well as partnering with some of the other local nonprofits that are really involved in that area.
Jay?
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
I think this is a wonderful idea. I think that space to have a spot for kids to just play is, I think, makes a lot of sense. Just thinking not just specific about this project, but other projects too, and the way that area will be structured, is it accessible for folks that might have any kind of mobility issues or students or kids that might need that additional support? Or even if we think about the activities that's going to be available for the kids, like, is it going to be accessible for folks that might need it? Water was a concern, so if there's an opportunity to think about, and I don't know what this would look like, but if there is some type of like water feature, because the kids really enjoy playing with water, but is there a way to connect that with the forest that was just presented earlier and try to be able to bridge those things together? And then long term, how do we address additional projects and initiatives and things like this coming up so we could make sure that more proposals continue to be both sustainable and approachable in these areas, right? So how do we prioritize them? How do we make sure that in the long term, like, we're able to include all these other additional ideas? And then also, how do we sustain it, especially if it's going to have some initial cost and then additional cost that might be both in terms of dollars, but also just individual resources, individual power, right? So the library staff that might have to address or have to be responsible for some of these things as well. So just a couple things to think about. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think having a place for kids to be able to play that way is good. And so maybe some things that we can kind of work through together.
Thank you. Those are really great suggestions.
I have a couple of comments as well. So my first comment is really about the venue. I have concerns about that particular venue being built up. Because of where the playground is located, the spillover that happens from the playground that is there often moves into that flat area when kids are running around and playing tag is the first component. So I have concerns about closing off the ability for kids to run around in the playground towards the trees and now the food forest if that comes to fruition. And then second is actually long-term. When you have kids who are 0 to 5 and they get all muddy, where do they clean up? The place they're going to clean up is going to be walking into the library to use the bathrooms to clean up. And I have concerns about that. One, for the overall maintenance of that, of the mud prints and everything else in the lobby, but also of all that dirt and mud going into the pipes long term is not going to be successful for what are often the cleanest bathrooms we have in Marina are at the library. And so I would actually reconsider the venue of where that would be. Conceptually, on board, but I think the venue need to consider where will people clean up after that. And 0 to 5 are not easy to clean up in a small area. So.
Yeah, I mean, as a parent, I think I would probably be using the water pump, to be honest. But it would, yeah, that you're right, that could happen. And I know, Bruce, you had some other possible locations you had suggested around the Oak Woodlands. Do you have anything to say about that, or try to put you on the spot? Yeah.
Yeah, this site was Plan B originally. Plan A was also close to the playground, but immediately south. There's a little triangular area of dirt and weeds that's never been used since it was a homestead or since it was a residential area. And so that was our preferred area because you come out of the library, you hit the playground, and then you start to get more natural. Then you get to what we thought of as the children's garden that you're just talking about right now. And then from there, you enter the Oak Woodland Community Garden that also already has fruit trees and such. So that was Plan A. And then with the big picture with the landowners trying to figure out what the lease is and who's going to manage what, it was we showed Plan B to Valine, and she said, well, actually, this is better than Plan A. So I'm really glad, she said, that we can do it here. So Plan B now has become Plan A as far as the visionary of this project, Valine. And you do have good concerns, and they're going to have to be addressed for sure before this could ever happen. Thank you.
I think overall, we're all in favor. We're looking forward to our kids getting money. All right, now we move on to the next agenda item, which is receiving information about Gloria Jean Tate Park. Drea.
Hi. Click to the next slide. Sorry. So I'm just going to give some updates about Gloria Jean Tate Park, and then we'll move forward with City Park at the Dunes. And then our last item. So for Gloria Jean Tate Park, phase 1 has been completed. That was the pump track 2024. Phase 2 is under construction, and the anticipated grand opening is May of this year. The grand opening will feature a dog park sectioned off to separate smaller dogs from larger dogs. It will include sports courts, 2 half-court basketball courts, 2 pickleball courts, and an exercise area. It will include open eating areas, turf area, and walkways in and around the park, a new playground equipment, and park entrances at Reservation Road and along Cardoza Avenue. Now, the additional amenities that will be opening in September or about September of this year are the cornhole, the gazebo, and 21 additional parking spaces. And this is just a layout to show you everything in green is what will be opening during the grand opening in May. And then the red section is like that cornhole area in the upper, the top part in the red. And then the lower part of the red is the, to the right is the additional parking spaces. Okay. That is it for the Gloria Jean Tate Park information. And then for the City Park at the Dunes information.
Sorry, can we get
Oh, yeah.
comments from the
Yes.
public
Yes, I
before
apologize. Yeah.
you move on to the next item? Comments from the
Yes.
public, please?
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I'm super excited about Gloria Jean Tate Park, especially for the pickleball courts. So a number of months ago, I spoke at a city council meeting, and at Gloria Jean Tate Park on Cardoza, the street close, the side of the Cardoza closest to the park is almost all painted red. Whereas the opposite side of Cardoza is, I'm just wondering if I need to stop for a moment.
Thank you.
The opposite side of Cardoza allows parking. And I did express to the city council that I think they have to look at trying to allow parking on the side of Cardoza closest to the park. Even though you're going to have 21 more parking spaces, I think you're just going to have people wanting to park real close on Cardoza. So I hope that you would send that as a recommendation to the city council. The other issue is back in mid-November, I sent an email to Drea and to our city manager, and I was recommending some draft signage that should be on the pickleball court. And it would address things like recreational activities other than pickleball are prohibited on the courts, rubber-soled athletic or court shoes only, no glass on the courts. There were a number of things, including also a rack system, which is used when there's only a couple of pickleball courts available. I would suggest you have a very vibrant group of pickleball players on Tuesday and Friday mornings in your senior program, that you get a couple of those individuals. I'm happy to volunteer my time also, and that we get together before May, so that you can have signage on display on those courts. Those courts look fantastic. And I would hate to see somebody go out there with rollerblades or skates or decide to start eat a bunch of food on those courts. So my time is available to offer to do that. And you've got another comment about
Thank
something.
you.
Hello, commissioners. This is so exciting. Yes. When I was looking at this, Christina Dirksen, by the way, for the record, I think we're missing the walking track, and I thought there was a playground. So when I was on council, I helped bring this project. And I thought we had a footprint. I guess it's changed. So I'd like to know a bit about that. Is there any lighting that's happening? Is there any security? Like, is the door going to, I mean, I guess the way that it is now is, you have the gates there and then on the gate on the other side. I'm just wondering, how is it going to stay? What's the plan for safety, I should say? And what was the other question? Bathrooms? Do we have bathrooms here? Those are my questions. Thank you very much.
Drea, can you answer some of those questions?
Bring up the slide real quick, back to the picture. So yes, the walking path is in the upper red area. So, on my slideshow, it does say that open eating areas, turf area, and walkways in and around the park. But that walking path is included in the additional amenities opening in September, so I'll add that. Thank you, but yes, that is included in the plan. And then the playground equipment is also still, we do have a playground coming at Gloria Jean Tate. And that is going to be opening in May, the playground piece.
There were also questions about lighting and security,
I'll have
as
to-
well as the bathrooms.
Yes, so I believe there's already bathrooms at Gloria Jean Tate, which we do have right next to the Scout House. And I'll have to check with Public Works on the rest of the questions.
Can we finish first with comments from the public before we go to the commissioner? Any other comments from the public on this issue? All right, Tina, you're up.
Oh, real quick, I'm sorry. And we will also work with Grace in addressing her email from November. Thank you. We're excited to bring you in on that. Go ahead.
And also what Grace was saying along Cardoza, is that still going to be open parking area? That whole area of Cardoza, will you still be able to park along the street?
I will have to check with Public Works on that.
Sorry. Oh, I was, sorry, maybe it's, I was asking if we were still going to allow parking along Cardoza Avenue.
So the current parking is definitely going to stay, but then also there's the 21 additional parking. So I will educate myself more on that question, but also check in with Public Works.
Income. No. I have a just a comment as well, that any language that we adopt for the pickleball courts, that we use that consistently on all the pickleball courts in Marina, given that new ones I think are coming to City Park at Sea Haven. And then I think also the renovation at Preston Park also is getting pickleball court, right? So we want to make sure the language is all consistent.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We'll go to our next item, which is the City Park at the Dunes, an update.
So if anyone would like to give comments and suggestions at the City Council on Wednesday, January 21st, we will have the Wallace Group present an updated park design. So the park design that the Wallace Group is going to present on January 21st is actually based off of the original design that was presented in November to our Recreation and Cultural Services Department. I do have those slides up here. We're not going to go to them yet, but I'll explain a little bit further as we go through this presentation. So for the park schedule, we have the original park design is over budget. The Wallace Group is working on scaling back the project to align with the budget around 10 million. Landscape and engineering design will be at 100% completion late this month. And the project, that is January 2026, and project is going out to bid in February. The bid opening should be around late March, and the tentative construction start is late spring, early summer for City Dunes at the Park. And part of the City Dunes at the Park, or City Park at the Dunes, sorry, is this all-inclusive playground community build, and that will tentatively start fall of 2026. So this was what's been presented before. This is the full scope of the project. This includes, you'll see on the legend, I can't read it very well and I apologize, but we have a great lawn. We have the all-inclusive playground is number 9 on this design. We have pickleball courts, volleyball courts. We have an amphitheater. So there's a lot in this project as for the full scope. Now, the Wallace Group is going to be presenting a new design that will just align more with the $10 million budget and show this basically in phases. So this is what you can see right now, and then you'll be able to see an updated version in January. And then the next slide is the amphitheater. And then the following slide. And these are inspirations for the amphitheater and the different, just the inspiration for this whole entire area for the amphitheater with materials and furnishings. So that's the end of the City Park at the Dunes presentation.
We'll open it up for comments from the public about the City Park at the Dunes.
Christina Medina here. I did have questions about this elements of the design I don't see here unless my eyes are really bad and I can't see them. We had originally had, when we put this plan together, sand volleyball courts. There was to be 2 of them. And the other thing is, I think we've gone back and forth. So my question is, will there be sand volleyball still here? And we went back and forth originally with the tennis courts over pickleball courts. And the thinking was at first, the history was we were going to do 2 tennis courts, and then it was decided perhaps pickleball courts if we were able to have the tennis courts. We have no tennis courts in town. The ones that we have are in terrible shape. And they're down on reservation. I'm sorry, on what is this one? What is this? $9. Yeah. We play. We have a championship league player and family here in Marina at a high school level. There's a lot of players that play high school volleyball, tennis at Monterey High, where my girls go. So the point was that we had swapped out the pickleball for the tennis, and then then it came back to 2 pickleballs, and now I think a tennis and a pickleball. So if we can just get clarification, how many are we having? And just going back to the pickleball, is that we will have a lot of pickleball courts here. And yes, it is a fast growing sport, but also it is because it's a new sport, and also because it's a new sport and there's people of different ages, obviously, who can play it. A lot of people do play tennis. It is not a going out of style sport. The pickleball will be at the Gloria Jean Tate Park. And then the next slide that we'll be talking about is the Sea Haven Park. You're going to have a lot of pickleball courts out there. So the ask, which included before members of the tennis team, was to please keep tennis courts accessible so we can have it. Know that the Marina High School does not even have a tennis team because there's no good courts. So the hope was to help that spur people to play. And some people will say nobody plays tennis. That's because a lot of people who do are in school or on the weekends, or it's fractional. We belong to the Monterey Tennis Club tennis center, and that is pretty much the only place that you can go with multiple courts, unless you are up at Meadowbrook, and that is a lot more expensive, or you're lucky enough to go out to Chamisal. And if you want sunshine, you have to pay a lot of money to go out to Carmel Valley. So just those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Julie Hoffman. I just wanted to ask, I know that there was an intent to keep the existing trees that were on the parcel. And I haven't looked at this plan for a long, long time, so I apologize for coming in sort of late to the game. But I was wondering how many of the trees that are currently there will be removed for this project, or is there an intention to keep all of the trees that Mike Owen worked for keeping on site? That's just my question.
Drea, can you answer a couple of those questions in that the schematic just says sports courts? So do we know what sports those are supposed to be? And also the question about trees.
So to my knowledge, right now it's 2 pickleball courts, and I'll double check with our consultants, the Wallace Group, about the tennis courts. And then for the existing trees, those should be staying. So I'll give you confirmation, or I'll have them add that to their presentation for January 21st to the City Council, but I can also provide that feedback to you.
Great. Any,
I'm sorry, and the sand volleyball courts. Yes.
any other comments? How about comments from our commissioners?
What is, do you know what number 10 is? What court that is? It says fitness court. I'm just,
There's fitness equipment that is going to go in that space. Let me see. Yes.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, fitness equipment. So it's just like outdoor equipment.
Okay. Just curious. Thank you.
All right, that brings us to our next item, which is the Recreation and Cultural Services Commission meetings. Do we need to take any action, or we're just informing the public?
So since Lisa is out now, I think that the best thing for us to do is to take this offline and for us to work through that schedule, and then for me to come back in March. So us to definitely meet for March, because that's already scheduled, March 4th. And then at the March 4th meeting for us to approve the final dates. We do have our liaison, city council liaison, would prefer to meet on a different day other than Wednesday, because there is a meeting schedule conflict for her. So
We'll deal with it in March.
we're going to take care of it in March. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. We have no commission comments, reports. So I will call for an adjournment at 7:58. Thank you.
Thank you.